Welcome back into Hit Sticks. It's crunch time in the holiday season. We've got Isaiah Stanback. We've got oh, wait a second. That's not Barry Church. This is Danny McCray, former Cowboys safety, and of course, recent fame from Survivor and The Challenge. You've got a brand new challenge. Yeah, challenge champion. He's going to try and be challenged by Isaiah Stanback today here on the Sticks of Madden NFL 24. I'm Kyle Yeomans. Let's get after it. You ready to go?
Let's go.
Let's get after it here on Hit Sticks. The Cowboys allowed 266 rushing yards in the Week 15 loss against the Buffalo Bills. It's something that Dan Quinn's defense has had some troubles with over the last 3 years. Where they excel as a pass rush team, they don't necessarily excel as a run-stopping team. And they've been 0-3 this season against teams in the top 7 of rushing yards per game. Unfortunately for them, this week it's the Miami Dolphins. So here's the thing. The Dolphins have a stable of tailbacks, I should say. Devon Achane, and you've got Raheem Mostert that's in the formation here. They've got some other guys like Jeff Wilson and company that can tote the rock. It's not just the passing attack for the Miami Dolphins. So, Danny, how about this for a number one challenge? You got to stop the run. Isaiah, how are you going to try and attack this from an offensive standpoint?
Well, I'm just going to show my options. First of all, if you try to commit to the running game in terms of defensively and try to overcome the shortcomings that you had this most recent week against Buffalo, then these guys have the speed on the outside to simply take advantage of you, right? You don't have the personnel to match up with them speed with Waddle and Hill. So the probability of you loading the box is not high, right? So most teams, when they come up to the line of scrimmage, they're going to try to exploit your running game, exploit your run defense. If you come down to single high, most of the time they're going to try to pass the ball. If you come out to two high, most of the time they're going to try to run the ball. Right now, I see a single high. I don't know what my man D. McCray going to do over here.
Yeah, see, and that's the thing with our defense. What we have to do is make sure that we disguise, right? You cannot tell the quarterback what we're running before the pre-snap. So here, I could be in single high, but if I'm smart, I may be dropping out into a two deep to make sure that I take care of that speed that they have on the outside. But you have to play those games with the quarterback to make sure they don't know what you're running.
All right, I like it, man. Let's see what happens here. Ooh, he almost came out there. Shoot.
That's okay. All right. That's all right. Okay.
You take that? You take that?
That's okay.
Take a couple yards in the cloud of dust?
We learning. We learning. It's actually the beginning of the game.
All right, here we go. Let's take a peek at what happened here, okay? All right, you're going to have the reverse out, boom. We're going with a counter, okay? Right now, misdirection is one of the things that they do very well. A lot of times they have motion going across, really trying to confuse you in your assignments. But as you see here, this is not a good situation for the Cowboys right now, all right? You have your blocker coming backside because you're pulling your right guard. He's going to come out. He's going to take care of Micah Parsons. A lot of times, Micah Parsons is going to try to come free. He knows that he wants to get back through on Tua, try to create some pressure, try to shut down their passing game. But now you have a guard that's coming out of him. Your outside run pressure, okay? Hooker right now is coming down to the outside. What does that leave? That leaves a big gaping hole right here for a two-way go. As soon as he sees that hat on the inside of that offensive lineman, he's going to try to cut right there. Boom, I got there a little late, but that's the hole. That's the seam that he's looking at that he's going to try to hit. And the last thing that you want as a safety is number 31 coming at you with nothing but open field space. They do a good job here of going and wrangling him up from behind, but that is a bad situation for Dallas. What do you think?
Yeah, I think this is a pretty clear picture for what's been going on with the Dallas Cowboys run defense. If you run this play and you see that guard pull, once that guard pulls, 14 Marquise Bell, his A-gap has disappeared. So he has to get over the top of this lineman that's trying to get him. So as soon as he sees that guard pull, he has to get as fast as he can over the top so he doesn't get caught right there on that block. And he's a part of the run fit there. Also on the outside, where Micah Parsons is, you have to make a declaration for where you're going to be, right? So if Hooker is coming there and Micah is forcing it back in with his inside shoulder, Hooker has to be in that gap on the inside. We've seen too many times where you have two guys outside in the D gap, and that's where you see those openings. It happened to us all last week, and I think that's something that we have to get fixed if we want to be successful in stopping the run this week.
So there you see how the Miami Dolphins can hurt the Dallas Cowboys just like the Buffalo Bills did on the ground. But that's the problem. they can hurt you through the air as well. When we come back, we talk about Tyreek Hill. He's been on the outside of that MVP conversation. He was hurt in Week 15. If he's able to go in Week 16, he could be a huge problem.
Cowboys Hit Sticks, presented by Madden NFL 24, is also brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, the official sporting goods retailer of the Dallas Cowboys, and by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. This segment is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, official sporting goods retailer of the Dallas Cowboys.
He might have been out in Week 15, but one of the top receivers in the NFL, Tyreek Hill, could return this week against the Dallas Cowboys as the Miami Dolphins and that passing attack continue to play at a high level. He's trying to become the first receiver in NFL history to hit 2,000 yards in a single regular season, and if he does that, he might even be in the MVP conversation, but he has to have 3 really good weeks for this Dolphins offense, and including against the Dallas Cowboys. Now, it's not just Tyreek Hill. You've got Jalen Waddle on one side. You've got Hill on the opposite side. Tua Tagovailoa has so much he can go to here. Isaiah Stanback, how is this going to challenge this Dallas defense?
Well, it challenges them because you have to do something that's outside of your typical defensive strategy. Dallas Cowboys are a single high man cover team, meaning that you like to have 8 guys in the box. You like to be able to man guys up, and you feel pretty good because you have all your safeties in there that can sit in the box, can sit over the top. You can't do that against the Miami Dolphins. There's just entirely too much speed. If you want to try to go out there and play man-to-man coverage, good luck. I don't care if you're playing press man. I don't care if you're playing 10 yards off man. Well, Hill and Waddle will eat up whatever cushion that you've laid out there. If you try to press up on them, they'll simply just run right around you. So you're forced to play a too high shell. And that obviously comes at the disposal of you being able to run the ball. But even on too high shells, these guys run a lot of crossing routes, and they put a lot of pressure on your safeties. Mr. Safety right here, these guys know they get on your toes relatively quickly. And when you do that, you find yourself opening your hips and turning around. And when that happens, that's when they start to turn it and snap routes off, and you can get it to him underneath, and then he uses his yak yardage to beat you.
Yeah, listen, absolutely. Everything you said was correct. I think when you play guys, which Tyreek Hill, what our coach used to call guys like that, is hamstring bursters, all right? Because he'll burst your hamstrings if you try to play man-to-man on them and run stride for stride. So what you want to try to do is, one, disrupt them at the line of scrimmage, right? Within that 5 yards, try to get some hands on them, throw off the timing of those routes between him and Tua. And then number 2, you always want to keep somebody on top of Tua, right? So you want to run cover 2 man to his side, cover 2 to his side, make sure you have someone over the top, and then try to find a way to double Waddle on the backside. That puts a little bit more pressure on your linebackers to where they have to cover those running backs and tight ends, but that is what I would worry about second versus Waddle and Tyreek Hill.
Now, let's see if your strategy works. It's like you coming out of too high shell. If I have to go pre-snap read, I'm going either soft cover 2 or cover 4. Let's see what you got here.
Yeah.
Woo!
We got both, cover 2 and cover 4, which we call cover 6.
I like it.
Cover 6. We're playing cover 2 over Tyreek Hill, cover 4 over there on Waddle. Essentially, you get a double team on both of them, depending on what the tight end does.
Go ahead and walk them through it real quick. So right here, okay, you got to play action immediately. The reason why I'm doing play action is because you're in a too high shell. I want you to believe that I'm going to run the ball because that's the expectation whenever you come versus too high shell. So these guys don't bite on that right off the bat, okay? Here is Tyreek. Boom. I had him on either a go route or a deep curl, okay, depending on the coverage. Obviously, there's too high shell. He's going to come and he's going to sit right here, okay, boom, right at the 10-yard line. But to your point, you have somebody that's sitting over the top of him. Malik Hooker's doing a great job of not letting anybody behind him, but he also has help in between. So it's like almost like a little ice cream sandwich right there, okay, where Tyreek Hill is right in between. He is the ice cream, and he does a good job, Damone Clark that is, of getting up there and getting his hand on it. And in the league, we always say tips and overthrows.
Gotta get those,
Gotta get those. So you want to take full advantage of that. But I'll let you, Danny, talk me through in terms of what you had going on the other side.
Yeah, so if you so great job going through the cover two. So on the opposite side, what happens is we have cover 4 on this side, right? With the tight end staying in, that gives the safety and the cornerback an opportunity to have a double team on Waddle, right? So that is the perfect ideal scenario for you. Any leakage from that tight end out late, that'll go to Jordan Lewis here or the linebacker if that's the opposite side. But you have a double team here on Waddle. On the opposite side, you essentially have a triple team, right? So if Miami wants to come out and they want to run 2-man or 3-man routes, this is the ideal situation for the Dallas Cowboys.
That's one way that the Dallas defense could use that too-high shell to slow down the Miami weapons like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. But could Miami use the exact same coverage against Dak Prescott and the Cowboys offense? When we come back, we talk about one of the coverages that Dak has struggled against here in 2023.
This segment was brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, official sporting goods retailer of the Dallas Cowboys.
Welcome back into Hit Sticks at the Star in Frisco with Isaiah Stanback and Danny McCray. I'm Kyle Yeomans. Glad you're with us as we turn our attention now to the offensive side of the football. Dak Prescott and company held in check in Week 15 against the Buffalo Bills. You might see a similar coverage with this Miami Dolphins defense in Week 16. Danny, we just saw you run this too-high shell as the Cowboys defense trying to slow down the Miami weapons, but how could this affect Dak Prescott and company with the offense from the Cowboys?
Yeah, when teams run cover 2, they have 5 underneath and 2 deep, right? So that's a lot of eyes on the quarterback. So Dak Prescott likes to hit that back foot and get the ball out quick. But when you have guys who are waiting in position for you to hit that back foot and then break on the ball, it makes it a little bit more difficult for you. So then you sometimes have to go to your second or third read. And I think sometimes Dak has had problems with that. But hopefully this week, he can be a little better and change that.
Yeah, you just talked about how the coverage is underneath. And when we start talking about the West Coast offense and Coach McCarthy, they like to get the ball out their hand quickly, right? 2.5 seconds is really his rule of thumb. And usually when you have that type of timeline, your routes are going to be about 12 yards and underneath majority of the time, right? You're relying on your receivers to get the ball in their hand quickly and turn it into that yak yardage, that yards after catch. The problem is when you have that time limit and you have those routes at that depth, that's where the defenders are sitting. So the windows of opportunities are literally slim, and Dak has to do a better job of driving those balls into those windows and making sure that his guy gets the rock instead of the defense. But we're going to see how he can combat that right here versus too-high shell if he stays that way.
Oh, no.
Yes, sir.
No, Dak.
and that's one of the issues, correct? So they do a good job here. Let's go ahead and go to a replay. This is something that we have to be conscious of, okay? The patience. When you're running versus a too-high shell, you have to have patience. This is a smash concept over here on the left side where I have a flat route with CD Lamb pretty much, right? He's going to come out here he's going to sit right there, okay, in the middle, okay? That's pretty much our flat defender. And then you have a corner route over here by B. Cooks. What happens is B. Cooks ends up getting held up. You have to get clean releases right here. This is number one rule, especially versus too-high shells. We need you to apply pressure on that safety. Means that nobody in your space can get their hands on you. You can't disrupt that because we need you on that safety to have the stress. Being that they do a good job here, all right, I should have came off of the read, but this is what happens sometimes with Dak. He gets locked on, right? And now all of a sudden he's like, okay, he beat that underneath guy. And he's going to beat that safety, right? He's going to take this high angle. But what you have to be able to see is who's sitting out here waiting on you. There's no threat here, okay? There's an underneath guy that's on a flat route, but that cornerback's not really giving on that. So what he's doing, he's sitting back and he's sinking. And when he sinks, a lot of times he comes out of your peripheral vision. He'll present himself back in the picture, but he doesn't do so until after the ball's already released. And there goes there goes the cookies. That's something that you don't want to face. If you're Dak, you just have to have your antennas up.
Definitely not what the Dallas offense wants to see on Sunday, because if they do throw up that turnover, man, that just gives more opportunities for the Dolphins offense and all those weapons to drive down the field and keep that Dallas defense on the field, much like Buffalo did in Week 15. But when we come back here on Hit Sticks, we go right into competition mode. It's CD Lamb versus Jalen Ramsey, two at the highest in their position group in the NFL. They're going to go one-on-one when we come back. CeeDee Lamb continues one of the hottest seasons for a Cowboys wide receiver in franchise history. This week, he's got a fun challenge. He goes up against Jalen Ramsey. Ramsey's been in and out of the lineup dealing with some injuries here in 2023, but when these two go after each other, man, it's always must-watch television. We've got him on the right-hand side this time around. Isaiah Stanback, how do you plan to have some success with CeeDee Lamb?
Release, release, release. Do not let Jalen Ramsey get his hands on you. This man is E Honda at the line of scrimmage. He has vice grips for hands, and he does not want to allow you to get past that 5-yard marker. He's going to utilize all of those 5 yards of freedom that the referees give him. So CeeDee Lamb has to do a great job of continuing with those great releases that he worked on this offseason to ensure that he has free releases, and then he can get into his routes and try to create some separation at the top of the stem. All right, let's see what we got here. 2 high shell. Boom, boom, boom. Let's see what we got. Bam.
Oh, yeah.
Not bad. Okay, you guys saw it. It was a hand fight. Okay, there's chicken fighting the whole way down the field. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. Does not get as clean of a release as you would like. However, the top of the route is what matters most. Okay, as long as he can continue to work himself down the field, and then at the top of the route, he can snap it off. It's a win for the Dallas Cowboys. So right here, all right, I have Ferguson clearing it out. The reason why I have Ferguson clearing it out because I want to clear out that interior space. They do it. Obviously, you see Ramsey right here. This is what we're talking about, the hand fighting, okay? He's sitting right here. His feet are squared up. Hands are inside. Boom, does a good job there. But CeeDee ultimately gets where we need him to, and that's inside. Now, Ramsey, as you know, D, he's going to try to ride him as far inside as possible. So it's really important that CeeDee does just that right there. You see it right here, how he goes from vertical to doing what? Leaning. Okay, that lean right there is very important for a receiver because it allows for you to get back on your stem. Now I'm using my body weight, I'm fighting, I'm using my hands, and now this is where the route is won. You guys see the ball from Dak. You see it's already out of his hands. Right now he knows that he's going to lean on him and boom, snap it off right here. There's nobody on the inside. I'm going to zoom out so you guys can see. There's nobody on the inside of that route. So he has room for error in terms of Dak. Boom, ball's on him. Now all you got to do here, CeeDee, is run away from this thing, and then you have a touchdown.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of getting CeeDee Lamb the ball. One, you want to get it to him often and early. Get the ball in his hands early. Try to get him some yards at the catch, the ability to make Jalen Ramsey miss a little bit, get into that rhythm, and then I think you'll start seeing big plays like this happen once CeeDee Lamb gets into that groove and he understands that, hey, this game is going to be mine.
So there's one way that CeeDee Lamb can have some success against Jalen Ramsey and that Miami secondary. It's a defense that plays very aggressive, but in this game, maybe if CeeDee Lamb can take advantage of that, it allows for this offense to open back up and look like they had going into the Buffalo game. When we come back, we see what Madden thinks is going to happen between the Dolphins and the Dallas Cowboys. Plus, we get the first prediction on hit sticks from Danny McCray. Welcome back into Hit Sticks at the Star in Frisco. We've got Isaiah Stanback and a Hit Sticks debut from Danny McCray. I'm Kyle Yeomans. Glad you're with us. Did you survive your first Hit Sticks scenario? You see what I did there?
You did. I survived better than I did on the TV show.
Okay, right, that's good. That's good. Hey,
TV show.
It wasn't as big of a challenge, though. I will say that.
That's right. But I am hungry.
Okay, you are hungry. That's something to keep an eye on. Okay, Danny McCray. Now, here's the thing. You guys usually are holding these controllers at the end of the show, whether it's Barry, Isaiah, and now Danny. You've got these controllers. I've got a little bit of hardware here myself. This is a Lenovo Legion Go. This is by far my favorite piece of new technology on the market this holiday season. I'm giving it away on my Twitter at Kyle_Yeomans. You retweet the graphic that I put up on Tuesday. If you're able to do so, you got a chance to win this Lenovo Go. You've got a chance. You've got a chance. Okay. You're popping on Twitter. Right. You're not on Twitter a ton, but you're going to be on Twitter for this. This is by far, it's a gaming PC in the palm of your hands. Windows 11. It's a tablet on the inside, then it's got detachable controllers. There's a lot to be excited about with this.
That's dope.
It's pretty sweet.
Christmas coming, Kyle.
Barry's already ordered his for Christmas. You're going to hold it for a little bit? You're going to hold it for a little bit? That's a great, that's good, because now it gives me an opportunity to tell you what Madden thinks things about this Cowboys-Dolphins matchup here in Week 16. And, of course, this was a good one from the jump. Brandon Cooks dives into the end zone from 7 yards out. Dallas takes a 7-3 lead, and they would increase that lead. CeeDee Lamb breaks wide open into the end zone. 11-yard touchdown, 14-3 Cowboys. However, Tua would strike back. Tyreek Hill, he had to find the end zone at some point, right? 14-10. But the Cowboys, right before the quarter break, would run it into the end zone with Tony Pollard. Only 31 seconds remained. However, Tua finds the deep bomb to Tyreek Hill. We've got a 4-point game going into the break. Dolphins get the ball to start the third quarter. Raheem Mostert runs into the end zone as he takes the lead for the Dolphins. The Dolphins win this simulation 38-35. So there's what Madden thinks. Isaiah, you look a little disappointed. Do you think they got it right this week?
Unfortunately, I do. I do. I think that Miami just has entirely too much offensive lightning power, too much speed. And I'm not sure versus a man-to-man coverage team like the Dallas Cowboys are, I'm not sure what adjustments can be made to combat that.
Okay, what do you think?
I don't agree.
Ooh.
I don't agree. Now, listen, it sounded like not a lot of defense was going to be played in this game.
Yeah,
I do agree with that.
Yeah?
I do agree with that. But I do believe that Michael Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence will make some big plays when they need to. I think Tua can give you the ball, right? If you figure out a way to confuse him before the snap, I think you can get some interceptions also off of him. So I'm going with the Cowboys on this one.
I like that. I'm with Danny on this one. I think the Cowboys have a rebound. They haven't lost back-to-back games in back-to-back weeks since the middle of 2021. So give me the Cowboys to win this one in a high-scoring affair. I do agree with Madden on that one. That does it for us here on Hit Sticks. For Isaiah Stanback, who's definitely going to try and take that Lenovo Legion Go. For Danny McCray, I'm Kyle Yeomans. We'll see you next time.
Cowboys Hit Sticks, presented by Madden NFL 24, was also brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, the official sporting goods retailer of the Dallas Cowboys, and by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys.